They didn't just build an app. They built the machine that controls human attention. Behind every viral trend, every late-night scroll, every 15-second obsession, there was one company, ByteDance. And at the center of its empire stood TikTok, the most powerful content engine ever created. It didn't just entertain people. It studied them. It learned their habits. It predicted their behavior. It shaped what billions would see before they even knew what they wanted. But the moment a platform reaches that level of power, it stops being entertainment. It becomes influence. It becomes control. It becomes a global battlefield. And that's when everything began to change. For nearly a decade, ByteDance wasn't just another tech company. It was the invisible architect of the attention economy. Inside Beijing's tech labs, engineers weren't building social media apps. They were building behavioral engines, systems trained to learn what you pause on, what you skip, what you replay, and what keeps your eyes locked on the screen 1 second longer. TikTok didn't grow because of followers. It grew because of prediction. The algorithm didn't ask who you knew. It asked what you watched, and that changed everything. Traditional platforms built networks. ByteDance built instincts. Every swipe fed the system. Every pause trained it. Every like sharpened it. And suddenly, a 15-second video could reach millions of strangers instantly. Silicon Valley was caught off guard. Competitors rushed to copy the format. Entire industries shifted overnight. Music, marketing, entertainment, news. ByteDance didn't just compete. It dominated the attention economy. But dominance always comes with a cost, because when one company begins shaping attention, the world starts watching back. At first it was admiration. TikTok felt creative, chaotic, alive. It gave ordinary people reach once reserved for celebrities. But then, the question started. Who controls the algorithm? Where is the data stored? How much influence does one platform really have? Governments started watching. Regulators started investigating. Competitors started panicking. The narrative shifted. TikTok was no longer just an app. It became a geopolitical issue. ByteDance entered a new reality. Not a startup, not a disruptor, a global power under pressure from every direction. Every decision mattered more. Every update carried weight. Every move was analyzed. And inside the company, something began to shift. The real pressure wasn't outside. It was internal. Billions of users, millions of creators, endless content demands. The algorithm had to keep delivering. But scale changes everything. Decisions slow down. Risk tolerance drops. Innovation begins competing with regulation. The company that once moved like a startup began operating like a global institution. And institutions move differently, carefully, defensively, strategically. Some engineers left. Teams reorganized. Focus shifted from invention to survival. Creators noticed first. Views became unpredictable. Reach fluctuated. Income stability felt uncertain. The platform wasn't broken, but it felt different. And when creators feel uncertainty, audiences feel it too. At the same time, competition intensified. Short-form video exploded everywhere. Platforms rushed to replicate the formula that changed the internet. One pre-wait, reels, shorts, copy after copy. The format ByteDance invented was no longer unique. Now the battle wasn't about invention, it was about retention. And retention is fragile. Users don't stay loyal forever. They move where attention feels fresh. ByteDance had to defend its position, while adapting at the same time. Then came another shift, the race for artificial intelligence. The future of content wasn't just recommendation anymore. It was creation. AI-generated videos, AI creators, AI storytelling. The battlefield changed again, and tech giants poured massive resources into the race. ByteDance had to evolve, not just as a social media company, but as a technology powerhouse. Pressure multiplied, because now the battle wasn't just about attention, it was about the future of intelligence itself. Strategic decisions reshaped priorities. Resources were redirected. Focus areas changed. To some it looked strategic. To others, it looked like retreat. And perception shapes reality. Headlines questioned stability. Analysts predicted decline. The word collapse started appearing more often, even when the numbers told a more complex story. Because the biggest threat wasn't financial. It wasn't regulatory. It wasn't even competition. It was psychological. Attention fatigue. People adapted to the scroll. They learned the patterns. They became harder to surprise. What once felt revolutionary became normal. And normal doesn't hold attention forever. For the first time, the infinite scroll faced a human limit. Curiosity slowed. Engagement behavior shifted. Not dramatically, but enough to matter. Because in the attention economy, small behavioral changes create massive consequences. Now in 2026, ByteDance stands in a completely different position than it did at its peak. Still powerful, still influential, still shaping global culture, but no longer untouchable. It is regulated, studied, challenged, constantly watched. The empire didn't collapse overnight. It transformed from unstoppable disruptor to global infrastructure, and infrastructure carries responsibility. This is not the death of ByteDance, and it's not the end of TikTok. It's the moment every tech giant eventually faces. When growth meets resistance, when innovation meets accountability, when influence meets responsibility. The question is no longer whether TikTok will survive. The real question is whether ByteDance can evolve faster than attention shifts. Because in the digital world, attention moves, culture changes, loyalty fades, and power never stays permanent. The companies that survive are not the ones that grow the fastest, but the ones that adapt before the scroll stops. And right now, the entire world is watching to see if the empire that mastered attention can survive the moment attention turns against it.